Krishna, thank you, Nitish Prabhu, Pawan Prabhuji, Hare Krishna dear devotees, and Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada, Happy Ekadasi to all of you. Okay, let's start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Okay. We'll continue with our prayer and then read. So I'll go ahead and sing today. वैष्णव विज्ञापति प्रार्थना वैष्णव नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर. हे बार करुणा करो वैष्णव गोसाई पतित पावन तोमा बिनके होनाई. हे बार करुणा करो वैष्णव गोसाई पतित पावन तोमा बिनके होनाई. যাহারা নিকটে গেলে পাপ দূরে যায় এ মনা দয়াল প্রভু কিবা কোথা পায়. গঙ্গার পরশ হইলে পাশ্চাতে পাওয়ান দর্শনে পবিত্র করো এই তোমার গুণ. হরিস্থানে অপরাধে তারে হরি নাম তোমার স্থানে অপরাধে নাহি পরিত্রাণ. তোমার হৃদয়ে সদা গোবিন্দ বিশ্রাম. गोविंद कोहिन मोरा वैष्णव परान. प्रति जन्मे खोरी आशा चरणी रधूली नरोत्तमे करो दया अपनार बोली. एक बार करुणा करो वैष्णव गोसाई पतित पावन तोमा बिनके होनाई. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. वैष्णव विज्ञापति प्रार्थना की जय. श्री नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Okay, anybody would like to read the translation? Okay, then I will continue. O Vaishnav Goswami, please be merciful to me now. There is no one except you who can purify the fallen souls. Where does anyone find such a merciful personality by whose mere audience all sins go far away? After bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganges many times, one becomes purified, but just by the sight of you, the fallen souls are purified. This is your great power. The holy name delivers one who has committed an offense to Lord Hari. But if one commits an offense to you, there is no means of deliverance. Your heart is always the resting place of Lord Govinda. Lord Govinda says, the Vaishnavas are in my heart. I desire the dust of your lotus feet, your holy feet in every birth I may take. Please consider Narottama yours and be kind upon him. Hare Krishna. Okay, so as these sacred waters of Ganges purifies, similarly, yesterday we were reading from Prabhupada Lilamrita, chapter 51, chant Hare Krishna and fight. That Prabhupada was taking bath in the sea water in Jagannath Puri and Bay of Bengal, and all his disciples were having a blissful time performing his abhishek with and giving him water bath and singing the Brahma Samhita prayers for bathing of the deities. So, and Prabhupada uh, was in Puri and he was requesting these pujaris of Puri temples that maybe they should try to intervene and help his Western devotees take darshan of Lord Jagannath. Jagannath Swami, Nayana Patagami, Bhavatame. Oh Lord Jagannath, when will you be the object of my vision? So, like that, these European and American disciples are praying, but unfortunately, they're not able to take darshan. So he's requesting these pujaris of Jagannath temple to help, although he had requested Prabhupada to come to inaugurate his commentary on a book by one Orient disciple, Orient devotee. And Prabhupada used that opportunity to talk about all the wonderful Rath Yatras that were happening all over the world by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath, that in London, in New York, in San Francisco, etc. So Prabhupada was saying that these Rath Yatras are happening everywhere. So now there will be devotees coming from all over the world, which is also good for the economy because tourists will be coming. So it is good that we can open up darshan of Jagannath. So like that he's requesting. And of course, Prabhupada also talked about in Bhuvaneshwar, he was talking about the importance of not forgetting our culture, and because Lord appeared here and he gave us these scriptures, so we have to make sure that as Indians, we are able to not only remember but also go out and share this treasure of Vedic knowledge. And there will always be trouble, just like Arjuna had trouble. Krishna will not do any magic. Krishna can also do magic for his devotees, but Prabhupada is saying that in this world, there will always be problems that will come our way. We have to tolerate and go through them by remembering Krishna always and praying to the Lord and taking shelter of the Lord. Okay, so let's continue here. Srila Prabhupada then walked off across the sands in the dark, followed by his disciples, and entered a nearby Gaudiya Math temple, where the devotees held kirtan. They then went to another Gaudiya Math temple, Purushottam Math, and again held kirtan. During the chanting at Purushottama Math, Prabhupada sat in a chair. When he was ready to leave, he began to stand, using his cane as a support. But suddenly, as he was about halfway up, he dropped down again onto the chair. Harishori had to lift him to his feet by holding him under the arms. Prabhupada said nothing but walked slowly out of the hall and got into the car. Not everyone had noticed Prabhupada's momentary collapse, but Harishori, on returning to his room, anxiously wrote of it in a letter to a godbrother as yet another sign that Srila Prabhupada's health is very quickly dwindling away. Certainly, none of the Puri Panditas had noticed any dwindling from Srila Prabhupada's presentation on behalf of Lord Jagannath, Lord of the Universe. In Bhuvaneshwar, just before 3 a.m., on the morning of January 30th, Srila Prabhupada began dictating the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. One of his servants in the next room heard through the wall and became so excited that he awakened the other devotees. The dividing wall between the two rooms was about 6 feet high, with an opening above the wall up to the thatched roof. Light from Srila Prabhupada's room shone into the next room through that opening, and his voice, although faint, could be clearly heard. He was dictating a short description of each chapter of the 10th canto. The first chapter, which was 69 verses, he began, describes Maharaj Parikshit's eagerness to learn about the incarnation of Lord Krishna. And it also tells us how Kamsa killed the 6 sons of Devaki because of his fear of being killed by her 8th child. The second chapter contains 42 verses. Prabhupada's patient description of each of the 90 chapters was the epitome of faithful rendering of parampara knowledge without concoction, interpretation, addition, or subtraction. Therefore, he spoke with the same full faith that the original speaker of the Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami, had spoken with 5,000 years ago to Maharaj Parikshit. Simply by chanting or repeating Krishna Katha, Prabhupada was saying, one is liberated from the contamination of Kali Yuga. This is the mission of Krishna consciousness, to hear about Krishna and thus be liberated from material bondage. Sitting up on their blankets, the devotees listened. They would not return to sleep. It was an important historic moment. The 10th canto begins 5,000 years ago when the entire world was oppressed by demonic rulers. And Prabhupada was comparing the situation then to the present situation. His words were faint but not weak. He was unhesitating, sure. Without reference to the supreme power of personality of Godhead, Prabhupada dictated, demons assert themselves to be the independent kings and presidents, and thus they create a disturbance by increasing their military power. When such disturbances are very prominent, Krishna appears. At present also, various demonic states all over the world are increasing their military power in many ways, and the whole situation has become stressful, distressful. Therefore, Krishna has appeared by his name in the Hare Krishna movement, which will certainly diminish the burden of the world. Philosophers, religionists, and people in general must take to this movement very seriously, for man made plans and devices will not help bring peace on earth. Srila Prabhupada was like a field general in his tent, and his disciples were like his infantrymen. They knew they were hearing his battle strategies even before the information was disseminated through the chain of command. They were thrilled. With faith, they heard that just as Krishna had defeated the demonic rulers, so the Krishna consciousness movement would counteract the demonic culture of the present age. Later on the morning walk, one of the devotees mentioned to Prabhupada that they were planning to put his name on a sign on the door, saying that on January 30th at 2:50 a.m., Srila Prabhupada began the 10th canto. Prabhupada was pleasantly surprised that they had heard him. Krishna's flute can be heard in the 10th canto, said Prabhupada, and the chapters 29 through 34 are the smiling face of Krishna. Another of Srila Prabhupada's GBC men, Satsvarupa Das Goswami, had recently replaced Rameshwar Swami as Prabhupada's secretary for the month. Srila Prabhupada, Satsvarupa Maharaj asked one evening while sitting with Srila Prabhupada in his quarters, when I first came here, Rameshwar Maharaj said that you had been speaking of how Krishna consciousness would rise to power in the United States, and I find it hard to have that vision, since now it is just the opposite. It is true, said Srila Prabhupada, but now it has only taken its roots. You have to water and protect it. Then you will get fruit. You have to give it protection. People must hear about us by our books, and we have to talk about the books. So it is not that it will happen overnight? No, said Srila Prabhupada. Gradually it will grow. The seed is there. Now protect it by introducing more and more books in every house. Again, Prabhupada referred to the upcoming New York court case. At least tell them to read our books. He said, this is our statement. Our defense is that you first of all read these books and then give your statement. Finish this and then give your judgment. Give them all these 84 books. Srila Prabhupada became excited by the thought of the judges and lawyers reading all his books. He was completely serious and he insisted the devotees get the authorities to read the books as legal evidences. Srila Prabhupada continued, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya, surrender to me and give up all other religion. Now the question may arise, why we shall surrender? Then you can argue and go on for 3 years. The whole thing will come out. What is God? What is creation? What is your position? Why you should surrender? And so on and so on and so on. What do you think? Yes, we should introduce the books as much as possible, said Satsvarupa Maharaj. I'll write a letter to New York and tell them to emphasize this. Bring all these books in the court, Prabhupada said. One time in Calcutta, there was a big lawyer named Mr. Ghosh. So on one case, he brought so many books for argument. The judges were friends, so they very mildly criticized him. Oh, Mr. Ghosh, you have brought the whole library? Yes, my lord, said Mr. Ghosh, just to teach you law. Srila Prabhupada laughed and repeated, Yes, my lord, just to teach you law. Prabhupada wanted his disciples to apply the same logic in the New York case. If the judge objected and said, Why have you brought so many books to bother me? The devotee should reply, You have to hear. It may take 12 years to hear, but you have to hear. This is the law. It sounded difficult, but the devotees knew they would have to try. This was Srila Prabhupada's specific instruction for handling the case. We have to say, said Prabhupada, we never tried to brainwash. We have done exactly according to Shastra, authority. Here is the evidence. We have not manufactured anything, so they must read all the books. I think you should take defense in that way. Our defense statement is already written in your book, said Harishari. Certain sections, asked Satswarupa. Or should we say that they have to read all the books? Prabhupada shouted, all, line to line. Our defense is 84 volumes. But they will say, said Guru Kripaswami, if we read all these books, we will become brainwashed too. That is my duty, said Prabhupada. You are trying to brainwash me, and I am trying to brainwash you. This is going on. That is the tussle. It is wrestling. You are trying your strength, I am trying my strength. Otherwise, where is their fight? You have got right to not agree with me. I have got right to not agree with you. Now let us settle. In Bhubaneswar on February 2nd, the appearance day of Lord Nityananda, Srila Prabhupada held the cornerstone laying ceremony. About 1,000 people came during the day to take prasadam. Seva Sivarath attended and spoke. Prabhupada's disciple Sarup Damodar also spoke, as did Prabhupada himself. Later, Prabhupada discussed with his disciples about how to manage the Bhubaneswar center. Some of the sannyasis admitted to Prabhupada that they did not see much potential there. Why not? Questioned Prabhupada. This is the capital of Orissa. People are coming here. We have to have centers in every town, even if it is not a big center. Some have to work and stay here. Even if the people are coming every night only to eat the khichdi, that is also preaching. One of the devotees said that it was too far from the town and that Orissa was too poor. A better idea might be to try to build a big temple in Jagannath Puri. Srila Prabhupada replied that to build in Jagannath Puri was all right, but that Bhubaneswar was also important. Prabhupada's Orient disciple, Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, told Prabhupada that as soon as the annual India pilgrimage was over, all the devotees would leave and he would be left alone with one or two brahmacharis. He was particularly suited to translating Prabhupada's books into Oriya, so he asked Prabhupada to give him someone to help manage the center. Where is the fat one? Asked Prabhupada. Bring him here. And a devotee ran out to fetch Bhagavad. At the time the devotee found him, Bhagavad was sitting in the visitor's tent telling the other devotees about his plan to go to New York. When he heard Srila Prabhupada wanted to see him, he assumed it was in connection with the cornerstone laying ceremony, since he was in charge. But as soon as he entered Prabhupada's room, he sensed something heavy was about to happen. Srila Prabhupada smiled and asked Bhagavad how he was. I'm fine, Srila Prabhupada. How would you like to stay here and manage this place? Well, Srila Prabhupada, I don't really think I can stay here. It is too hard. Couldn't you stay here and build this building? I could, but it is very difficult, and I was all set to go to New York. Bhagavad began excitedly telling Prabhupada about a telegram from Adi Keshav Swami in New York, inviting him to come and head an important preaching department in the temple. New York? Said Prabhupada. They have too many men in New York already. You don't have to go to New York. You should stay here. Bhagavad objected. He couldn't work with Gargamuni Swami, the GBC man for this area of India. Prabhupada replied that he was sending Gargamuni to Bangladesh. He wouldn't be in charge of ISKCON in Orissa anymore. Prabhupada would personally supervise Bhagavad. Bhagavad Das' next objection was that his health was not good and he had to sleep a lot. This is a very healthy place, Prabhupada countered. You simply go out in the field to pass stool, then wash with your lota and afterwards clean the lota with the mud, and you can bathe with the same lota. In this way, you will stay clean and healthy. Bhagavad then raised his ultimate objection. Srila Prabhupada, he said, to tell you the truth, I am not chanting my rounds. I think I had better go to New York because there is good association there and I can become strong in my regulations. That is all right, Prabhupada replied. You are working very hard. So if sometimes you aren't chanting your rounds, that's all right. As long as you are working hard, you can do your rounds at another time. Well, Srila Prabhupada, said Bhagavad Das, according to Guru Ashtakam, I can understand that whenever you please the spiritual master, you please Krishna. Prabhupada smiled. Yes. So if you want me to stay here, then I should stay. Yes, I want you to stay here. Make life members. Build this building and help manage the place. Although Prabhupada had laid a cornerstone for a temple, the center had no funds or donors in sight and no established congregation. All the devotees had was faith in Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's train was to leave at 11 o'clock the next night, and Prabhupada sat in his little hut talking with his disciples until it was time to go. The conversation ranged from World War II politics to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. At one point, Srila Prabhupada was saying how man cannot change the laws of nature. Man should not claim that he knows something or can do something unless he can stop the miseries of birth, death, disease, and old age. My position means my karma, Prabhupada explained. If I am in the plush Bhaktivedanta manor, I have the same suffering as I do in this hut. If I think now I am in the manor and I am happy, that is foolishness. But that is how they think. Then why are they dying? They should stop that. Can you, my disciples, help me in old age? You may try your best, but you should admit it is beyond your power. But as soon as you go back home, back to Godhead, everything is solved. He spoke about diets. Ghee was not good for him, but to eat only boiled food was like starving. He said he was capable of fasting. If you give me nothing to eat for 3 days, I can do it. Gargamuni told Srila Prabhupada of a man he knew in Calcutta who was healthy at 90 and who attributed his health and longevity to his strict diet of only fruits. Gargamuni suggested Prabhupada try that diet and Prabhupada agreed. Prabhupada mentioned the diet of a spiritual master. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he said, ate very little, but not only fruits. He liked to eat salty things, and his favorite preparation was made from chickpea flour and peanuts fried in ghee. After the talk, when devotees were commenting about Prabhupada's proposed fruit diet, Harishwari remarked affectionately, he has said that before, but he will never do it. On the overnight train ride to Calcutta, Prabhupada could not rest because of two drunken men in the next compartment. Throughout the night, they were howling and addressing each other. Oh, Dr. Mukherjee, oh, Mr. Chatterjee, Prabhupada remarked with disgust that these were the names of Bengali Brahmana families, but that now they had become drunkards. Jagannath Puri, he said, had been a holy place for thousands of years, but within a few years, it would be so no longer. People were using Puri as a seaside resort for recreation. People like Dr. Mukherjee and Mr. Chatterjee, who had no understanding of spiritual life. As the train pulled into Howrah station, Prabhupada sat for a few minutes before disembarking. The vendors' loud cries of chai, chai punctuated the overall din of humanity and machines. Tea. This modern society, Prabhupada sighed. It is very painful to even see their faces. They are fallen so much. By seeing their faces, you become polluted. Last night they disturbed so much, and they think they are happy, they are enjoying life. But we have to take the risk, said Satsarupa, to go and preach? Yes, said Prabhupada. If you are engaged in preaching, you are not affected. Sometimes yogis go to the Himalayas just to avoid seeing the face of the vicious persons. They practice yoga in a sacred and solitary place. Otherwise, what is this? Simply chai, and cigarette beedi, talking nonsense, drinking. Yet the Vedic system is still in India. In the morning, they take bath in the villages. In the cities also, at least those who come from the village. You will find in Bombay many poor men are taking bath early in the morning. Have you seen? They will wash their floor, take bath. With fond thoughts of the pure life in the Vedic village, Srila Prabhupada left the station, passing through the crowds and the noise. He knew Calcutta well, better than any of his disciples. The poverty, chaos, and political slogans did not faze him. It was his hometown, but he had no mundane connections there. He was coming only for a few days to preach, then on to Mayapur. Mayapur, February 7, 1977. More than 80 Bengali Gurukula boys, along with some 100 other devotees, greeted Prabhupada with a kirtan at the front gate of the Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. The entire ISKCON land seemed to be blooming with flowers, and the freshly painted temple building shone like the first reddish rays of dawn. The new building, a long residential building, was almost completed. Back to home, back to Godhead, Prabhupada said softly as his car entered the gate and slowly proceeded toward the temple. He was arriving 3 weeks before hundreds of devotees from all over the world were scheduled to come and be with him for the celebration of Gaura Purnima, the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya. Bhavananda Goswami and Jayapataka Swami, Srila Prabhupada's leaders of ISKCON Mayapur, ushered him through the crowd of Gurukula boys and devotees up to the deity room, where he beheld and bowed before the shining golden forms of Shri Shri Radha Madhav Ki Jai. Later, while sitting in his room on the second floor, Srila Prabhupada complimented the devotees for making the grounds so beautiful and clean. Hundreds of flowers decorated his room like a gorgeous garden. These flowers are your first success, said Prabhupada. He sat back, relaxed with the special pleasure and satisfaction he felt when in the atmosphere of his beloved Mayapur. For Krishna's service, he said, you submit some plan, and he is very glad. We want some flower for Krishna's service, and Krishna is supplying everything we want for Krishna, not for our sense gratification. For Krishna, we can endeavor multifariously. That is the contribution of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Srila Prabhupada said that prior to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, the Vaishnavas used to live retired lives in Vrindavan, no preaching. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was the first to demonstrate how pure devotees can preach in sophisticated ways, even living in big buildings and utilizing automobiles in the service of Krishna. People may be envious that these devotees are living in palatial buildings, said Prabhupada. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, only the devotees shall live in palatial buildings. only devotees. Just like government servants are given the best places to live in, similarly, those who are devotees, they should be given all facilities, not extravagancy, not luxury, but nice food, nice place, nice facilities, and chant Hare Krishna. This is our mission. This is not dry. Especially you coming from America and Europe, you are not accustomed to the hardships of Indian people. You must have the bare necessities of comfort and serve Krishna. This I am trying to do and utilize. Prabhupada thanked the devotees present for working in Krishna consciousness, and he reiterated his familiar formula that American brains and American money combined with Indian culture could turn the whole world into a heaven. Later, Srila Prabhupada went to oversee the new building, the longest building in West Bengal. Jayapataka Swami said, more than 700 feet. Srila Prabhupada said it looked like a train. He inspected all the rooms one by one and emphasized that they must be ready in time for the festival. Walking along the veranda, he remarked, "Oh, it is just like Fifth Avenue." The next few days were quiet. Prabhupada would sit, taking his massage in the late morning on the roof amid hundreds of potted plants. Leaning on the rail of the veranda outside his room one day, he looked down onto the lawn where one of the women was picking flowers for the deities. "This is temple," he said. "Always something going on, and with each flower picked, she advances in spiritual life a little more." Prabhupada particularly liked that the Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir was always being expanded and improved. He liked to look out from the veranda and see guests arriving, devotees working, and the new plans manifesting. But Prabhupada's ill health persisted. An imbalance of pitta and vayu, bile and air, he said. One morning when his servant asked him how he felt, he replied, "Very bad." But sometimes after a very bad morning, he would feel much better. The devotees did not think of Prabhupada's illness in a material way, but it caused them anxiety. Over the years, he had gone through various health crises, and the devotees knew these illnesses were transcendental, directly controlled by Krishna. In 1974, when he had been very ill in Vrindavan, he had said that the cause was his disciples not strictly following the rules and principles of Krishna consciousness. His disciples knew they had to strictly follow his orders if they actually cared for his health. He would go on taking risks, accepting more disciples, traveling and preaching, but his disciples had to avoid acting in ways that would disturb his health. Mostly the devotees preferred to think that Prabhupada's health would soon improve, and Srila Prabhupada himself did not dwell on the subject. He was too absorbed in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. Okay, let's pause here. So yeah, Prabhupada is coming back from Puri to Calcutta, and yeah, as usual, this whole world, he's looking at everything from transcendental vision. He's engaging all his disciples in seva, like he's saying here, even one small service, just picking one flower is advancing us in spiritual life. So what to speak of, when we do our japa, when we do our, all other 9 limbs of devotional service, how much of progress we all can make. So like Prabhupada is saying, everything is of course absolute in the spiritual world, in spiritual service. So yeah, so he's engaging his disciples to stay back there and build and grow that facilities in Bhubaneswar, along with His Holiness Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. So yeah, he's engaging everybody that seva is important. If we don't do seva, then we may just do some gossip and waste our time and waste our life. But yeah, so service, sadhana, and sincerity, everything is important. And yeah, he's seeing people around him in the train and at the station. Yeah, how the Indian people also are being degraded slowly and gradually. But like he was saying to Rameshwar Swami Maharaj and then to Satsvarup Goswami Maharaj, that this Krishna consciousness is the only hope, and it will grow, but it will be a gradual growth. It all depends on how we protect it, how we nourish it by watering it. So similarly, the seed of bhakti, we get, it is not going to automatically grow. Right? We have to protect it, we have to nurture it, nourish it by watering it, and there will when we grow in our gardens, and when we here, especially in America, we know in our lawns there'll always be weeds that will come along with plants and grass. So we have to carefully remove those weeds that may come up while we perform bhakti, so that our healthy plants and grass that we grow, they become healthy, they are nourished. So like that, the seed of bhakti, the bhakti lata bij, nurtures it, or it sprouts, and it is nourished when we do our sadhana bhakti properly. And then if we have to make sure that we are being cautious of the anarthas that may come up in form of lust, anger, greed. So that is also kanchan, kamini, and kirti. Desire for name and fame, desire for sensual pleasures, a desire for material wealth. So all these three kinds of things are anarthas that may also come because we are watering the seed. The weeds will also grow, but we have to be cognizant of that and remove the weeds as soon as possible, right? Because when the weeds grow, they may grow deep and they may spoil the rest of the area. So like that. So anyways, Prabhupada's in the same mood. He's cautioning his disciples that they have to protect, but the movement will grow by their sincere endeavors. Okay. Yeah, and all of this he's doing. This is like 1977. So yeah, Prabhupada. This was the final year of Prabhupada's pastimes on the planet Earth, and so he's traveling and sharing all this wealth even while he's in the prime of his health, or the final end of his health. But yeah, we see again and again he's completely surrendered to the Lord, and he's continuing to take risks, traveling, preaching, but completely surrendered to the will of the Lord. Okay, anything else anybody would like to share? Any other thoughts, reflections? Ritesh Prabhu, anything you want to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji
Yeah.
is really very spiritual connection when we read about Prabhupadaji's journey and his determination. As you said, it's the final year of his preaching, but it's always heart touching that he's still full of devotions. He's full of his compassion for the preaching of ISKCON, although he has collapsed two times in a short period of time, and with the history of the health, he's not thinking about the health. And sometimes I wonder, like, we are thinking in our this age, oh my god, what's going on? Are we don't have the same energy as we had the old thing? And but again and again, whenever we connect, do the japa things in the morning, somehow we get the energy that yes, the day, although we are not sleeping that much, but still we get the thing that the energy from the japa mornings by doing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. We connect to a world which 99% of the people may not connect to, and it's all because of the preaching of Prabhupada ji and how he made us connect to the Krishna in a very simple way. And thank you, Prabhuji, and everyone for being such a big uh, preacher to us also. I mean, Prabhupada ji was there, but his disciples, his followers, and the we again, I will say, all the devotees, they keep connecting us to each every time. We still are the human beings. We still are uh, doing whatever is necessary to live in this world, and we get sometimes demotivated. We sometimes get uh, our path gets deviated from the main thing. But by doing this thing, the japas in the morning, and again connecting to Prabhupadaji's teaching, it brings us back to Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of it, and especially enriching my life with this blissful mornings. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Oh, really summarized. Thank you so much for sharing your heart. Yeah, Prabhupada has given us this treasure. It is there, it's available for all of us. We have to just accept it with full heart and with conviction. And yeah, like you said, just simple things. Bhakti is very simple, Prabhupada said. So we can all see, yeah, we get even many CEOs and many modern You know, successful, material successful people, they also say that waking up early morning gives them an extra bout of energy, because they can accomplish so much more in the morning, right? So because this is the time of, the power in the morning, spiritual power, that it is available for everybody to harness. So yeah, so when you wake up in the morning, we do this, it certainly helps, and we have energy throughout the day. But yeah, thank you for also being there with us every morning, and or you know we are all humans, so we're just trying our best, but Krishna is always there. Prabhupada's mercy is always there to push us and take us forward. But yeah, thank you for sharing your wonderful reflections. I always remember you because you are a pharmacist by profession. Prabhupada also was a pharmacist by profession. So yeah, there are a lot of commonalities. Hmm. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else would like to say anything? Pravakar Prabhu, Pawan Prabhuji, anything from your side?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your service this morning. I mean, every day in the morning, you are the pillar of the Cincinnati ISKCON Center. Thank you for your seva and everything. I really appreciate it.
You are starting before me. I'm a bit late, but yeah, we're all together, and that is all we need to do. Just need to stay together. Prabhupada said, just be together and serve together. So yeah, we can all do individually at our homes, but when we come together, I think it just gives us that little extra, dose of energy and motivation to continue. Because otherwise, in this world, mind is very, very strong. It can always influence you not to do, but doing it, to being staying together always, gives us, like, Prabhupada's mercy always comes more, because he said association is more important. Sadhu Sangha. So thank you for being there every morning. You are also, all of you are amazing, and everybody who's not here also. Many devotees join every day. So all glories, all glories to the wonderful devotees, like Ritesh Prabhu said. So we are all in this together. Thank you all. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णवृंद की जय। जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रभुपाद लीलामृत की जय। उत्पन्न एकादशी की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Have a wonderful Ekadashi. We'll see you
Hare
this evening.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.